Hello and a very warm welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I want to talk about the real estate market in Bulgaria's second city, Plovdiv, and give you 10 reasons why I think this could be a good place to put your money in the real estate market. So number one, let's talk about prices to begin with. Plovdiv is really cheap. So on average for a property in Plovdiv, you're going to pay about 800 euros per square meter. Yes, 800 euros per square meter, and that's despite a 5% increase in property prices in Plovdiv over the last year or so. Even in the city centre, you can expect to pay on average around 1,100 euros per square meter. Very cheap. Number two, I want to compare Plovdiv to some other cities in Bulgaria, notably Sofia, Varna and Burgas, which I think are also good investments as well. So in Sofia, you'll pay 1,200 euros per square meter, Varna around 900 euros per square meter, and Burgas around 900 euros per square meter on average. So Plovdiv at 800 euros per square meter does compare quite favourably. Now, number three, I want to talk about the reasonable long-term yields. So you can expect long-term around 5 to 5.5% gross yields. You might even get 6% at a stretch. Having said that, you may say, what about taxation? But taxation is very low. And listen to this, rental income tax in Bulgaria is only 10%, and you do also get 10% deductions as well. So even your net yield in Bulgaria could be quite reasonable. Of course, you have to take into account maintenance and fees for an estate agent potentially running your property, but even then you could easily get about 3 to 3.5% net, and that's pretty good. Actually, it's fantastic compared to most Western European cities, namely, for example, London, Paris, etc. Number four, I want to talk about Plovdiv being what I call a tiger economy. So GDP between 2010 and 2018 grew on average by 6.5% every year, and that's far better than the Bulgarian average. Number five, let's talk about population growth. Now, we all know Bulgaria has a very low birth rate, and in general the population is in decline, but not in Plovdiv. Plovdiv is only one of 6 Bulgarian cities where the population is actually growing. I'll name you another 3, Varna, Sofia and Veliko Tarnovo, and I've already made videos about these cities. Please do check them out. And there is also a growing expat population in Plovdiv. There's currently around 18,000, and it is becoming a bit of a hub for digital nomads, and I can only see this increasing in the future, and this is good for the real estate market. Number 6, let's talk about tourism. Now, in 2019, Plovdiv was the European capital of culture, and it is. I think Plovdiv is a beautiful city. Please do go there, even if you don't decide to buy property. Please do go there for a long weekend. It is by far the oldest living city in Europe, and the old town is actually a candidate to become a World Heritage Site. So I think if this were to happen, I think it may well happen. It will increase tourism as well and increase the Airbnb market, which is already not too bad in Plovdiv. Now, number 7, let's talk about the excellent infrastructure. So the internet speeds are good. As far as the electricity, gas, water and sewage system are all of the highest order. Plovdiv actually has some excellent universities. It's got a 34,000 student population, and many of these students are actually foreign as well. And it is the industrial center of Bulgaria. It has 74,000 jobs in manufacturing, and it also has a very good growing IT industry. Number 8, let's talk about Bulgaria in general. Now, what I've always liked about Bulgaria, it's a pro-landlord. So unlike many Western European countries, namely, let's say, France, Spain, Italy, etc., Bulgaria is pro-landlord. Number 9, let's talk about the low taxation. I've already said rental income tax is only 10%, but also corporation tax and capital gains tax are only 10%. And in actual fact, if you are a tax resident of Bulgaria or from an EU, EEA country, if you hold the property for more than 3 years, or 3 years or more, I should say, you will pay no capital gains tax. That's for only one property per year, though. and it's valid for 1 year, as I said. Now, if you want to sell some other properties, so if you want to sell 2 other properties within 1 year, they have got to be, and pay no capital gains tax, they will have had to be held for 5 years. But it's still, even if you do have to pay capital gains tax, let's say you're from the United Kingdom or a non-EU EA country, 10% isn't bad at all. Number 10, I want to talk about just a little bit about the economy. Now, we all know the GDP has been growing at a very good rate every year. Unemployment has gone down a lot in the last 10 years. Actually, in 2019, it was only 4.2%. It has gone up a bit, obviously, due to the pandemic. But I also wanted to talk as well about the total government debt to GDP. And currently, that stands at only 24%. That's the second lowest in the European Union after Estonia. It is incredibly low. And in actual fact, it has been as low as 20%. But unfortunately, it didn't increase like many other countries in the world have increased their government debt to GDP due to the pandemic. So I've given you 10 reasons, I think 10 pretty good reasons to invest in Plovdiv. Now, very briefly, I always recommend, I think in a place like Plovdiv, Varna, Sofia, where property is very, very cheap, go for as central as possible, because you're paying, even in Sofia, you're paying less than 1,500 euros per square meter. And here, even the top center, you might only pay about 1,100 to 1,200 euros per square meter in Plovdiv. If you don't go for the very center, you can go, for example, for Kapana. I like Kapana. I've been there in Plovdiv, and it's next to the old town bars. It's got good bars, restaurants, stores, etc. You could go for Marasha, I think it is. That's also close to the station and city centre, and close to a lot of attractions and facilities. One area where I probably wouldn't go, if I seem to remember, is called Trakia. Please do check that as well. And I remember here there's a lot of communist buildings from the 1970s and 1980s. And yeah, although they're very, very cheap, remember, Bulgarians are not that interested in buying in old buildings. They prefer to buy newer property. So I would probably not buy in this area. Anyway, please let me know your thoughts. I think Plovdiv is actually a wonderful city to go and visit, even if you don't buy property there. It's not my first choice. My first choice is actually Varna, and second choice Sofia. But if you want to go for a second city in any country, I would pick Plovdiv. Anyway, please do click the like button if you've enjoyed this video. It does help get this video out to as many people as possible. If you like my channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you very soon on the next video. Thank you and goodbye.